Hello and welcome to the Philippines. These are some of the relationship types that I have observed here in the Philippines, and also some of the types that have been described to me by expats and foreigners here in the Philippines, who have either had relationships with Filipinos here in the Philippines or back in their home country. So after I describe some of the many different types that I've seen here, and it's not all encompassing, of course, towards the end of the video, I'm going to offer up some advice as well. The first type of relationship I often see is somebody who meets a Filipino, Filipina here in the Philippines, perhaps probably online on one of the dating sites, comes over and meets them. And after courting for a while, they get married and they go through the process to move back to the USA or their home country, wherever that might be. And I've met expats and foreigners from Norway and Britain, Switzerland, and Netherlands, and a number of other companies, Germany and France, who have brought their Filipino wives back to their country. Often they are much younger than they are, and there is risk and reward in every relationship anywhere around the country. The age difference is much more acceptable in this country, so sometimes I've had a number of expats tell me that they're uncomfortable bringing somebody that young back to their own country, that they will definitely be questioned by friends and relatives and society. Some of those couples are not of retirement age, so they're going back to their home country to earn additional money, to save, to plan, that type of thing. And they plan on coming back to the Philippines to retire. I've met two couples who when it came time to retire, the gentleman wanted to come back to the Philippines, and the wife had decided she liked the home country much better than the Philippines, and she had become accustomed to the conveniences of the Western culture, and many times, sometimes the other Asian cultures as well, and decided that she did not want to come back to the Philippines, in which the two cases that I'm familiar with, they broke up amicably and stayed friends, went their own way, and I think the one couple finally decided to go ahead and get a divorce because the gentleman wanted to remarry over here in the Philippines. But there's lots of scenarios with each type of relationship, and not just here in the Philippines, but any place in the world. We age, we mature, we go through changes in life, and we make decisions. When you make a decision to do one thing, you make a decision to do something else, not to do something else. Oftentimes, life happens while you're planning it. You meet somebody, or circumstances change, so that your plans for the future must also adapt. And I will say that love is often a choice. You choose to love somebody. You choose to put the effort in to please and care for somebody. And I'll go on to number two. Number two, you meet on a dating site, send money over time, visit, move to her or his province. You marry, you build a house, you have a family, or live with her or his family, in whatever situation that might be. It might be a middle class, higher class, or lower class type province and residences, but you adapt, and you're okay with that. I have met many expats and foreigners who have gone this route, who've met somebody on the dating site, and over the course of 6 months, a year, even 2 years, has sent money to one person in particular, sometimes several different people who they've been talking to on the dating sites. But they come and they meet one or two of them and narrow it down and choose one. Basically, there again, love is a choice, and they're attracted to one, and they settle down in the province that they're from. That person, it's just a natural thing to stay. The Filipino culture is very family oriented, and sometimes it's hard to get the people to move away from those families, although sometimes it might be a good idea. I know some people say that it's a good idea to move 2 islands away from the family. It really is going to depend upon the family, and how much involved you want to be with that family. I have met a couple of expats over here in their 50s who came over here and have not had children in their home country, and they really want to get married and they want to start a family. They want to have children. I have met men in their 60s and 70s who had not planned on having a family, but they've married somebody in their 30s or 40s, and they have had a child unexpectedly, somewhat unexpectedly, and they're now pushing around a baby carriage. I've had a couple of taxi drivers even recently. They're very personal about their questions about your relationships. You have a wife, you have a girlfriend. How old are you? How old is she? And I'm seeing somebody in her 40s, and the statement that I've heard a couple times even recently is that, great, you can still give her a child. You can give her a child and you won't have to worry, she will raise it. And you know, they think that's a good thing. Number 3, you visit the Philippines and you meet a girl. She moves in soon after, and then the scenario goes many different directions after that. I've met a number of expats who met somebody, liked them, were comfortable with them. They stayed overnight fairly quickly and didn't leave, except to go to work possibly, and they were okay with that for quite some time. But there was a time where they become less comfortable with that, and it came down to how do I get this person to leave? And I've met I've met a number of foreigners who have told me they allowed the person to kind of move in, and it goes for guys and girls, but 80% of my viewers are males from the Western world, U.S., Canada, Australia, UK, but I've met a lot of guys from other parts of Europe as well, and a couple from Asia. Anyway, the suggestion is to take it a little slower and just explain to the person that you want to take it a little bit slower, because it takes a while to get to know somebody. Relations seem to develop very quickly here and very easily. People are very friendly. One guy I know the girl he was going with and liked, I think like their 3rd date, she asked, "Are you courting me?" And he wasn't quite sure how to answer that. He liked her, but you know, after 3 dates, you really don't know that much about a person yet. I know another person who, there again, spent maybe 4 or 5 dates with a person, and they've kind of moved in, and it's like, this is nice, but I'm not really comfortable with it long term yet. You know, it's some of them latch onto you very quickly. They get very comfortable in your place. And I know another guy that a girl moved in, and the first year went pretty well, but after that it started going downhill, and took him 3 years to get the girl to move out. Now they are still on a little bit of a friendship type basis. She still continues to try to stir up that relationship, I understand. But my suggestion is to take it slow. It is so easy to, because people are so friendly here and family oriented, and it is so easy just to fall in love or lust or whatever you want to call it at the time, and get caught up and start making, let your emotions make decisions. I've also met guys that have had a very quick romance like that, and everything seems to be going very, very well for them. So there's risk and reward in every relationship, whether it be in the Philippines or your home country or some other country around the world. Number 4, nannies are much more common than one would think here, especially in the upper middle to upper classes. And if you meet a girl from those type of background, you may find that doing chores, doing cooking, cleaning, and shopping is really a foreign idea to them. They haven't done it, they don't think they should do it, and that could be quite an adjustment. There are other cases where people in larger families where they weren't involved. Other people did the cleaning, the cooking, and they haven't learned to do the cooking. So if cooking at home is very important to you, that is going to be a learning experience, an adapting experience. That's why it's important to take more time to get to know a person. Number 5, family culture. Something that is very strong here in the Philippines is the family culture, and it's going to be part of just about every relationship with a Filipina. Here, their family is very tight-knit, and often the family comes first. Well, it's often been said that when you marry a Filipina, you are marrying the family, and I've seen that to be the case many times. Family events, family relationships take priority over other things oftentimes. There's family takes care of one another much more than many of the Western cultures, but that can be a time of adapting to get used to that, and it can be good and it can have its challenges as well. So there's a brief look at some of the relationship types, different scenarios that I've seen here, some discussion and a little advice. It's very easy. People are so friendly here. It is very easy to fall in love, fall in lust, whatever, and get into a very serious relationship here very quickly. People are very friendly. It doesn't mean every friendly person doesn't mean that they want to date you. And I've known guys who have taken that friendliness to be a physical and emotional attraction, and often isn't. It's just a friendliness. So be careful about that. Take your time. Take your time. Take a little longer than what your emotions often tell you, and get to know a person a little bit. Do you have things in common? Can you adjust? Can you put up with the cultural differences and the personalities? It takes a while to get to know somebody, and there again, I know a friend who has met somebody they think is probably the right one, and yet they've told me they haven't really spent that much time with them, but they felt a bond. My advice obviously is, you don't have to rush into that. It is important to spend some time with a person. It's often difficult because if the Filipina is working, they often work long hours and many days during the week, so they get very little time off. And so it becomes more difficult to spend time together. Understand that family is going to be a big part of that relationship in many cases, not all cases. Of course, if you go back to your home country, that eliminates part of that. There's risks and rewards in everything, and I wish you all the best of luck in your pursuits of the right person, the right relationship. And there again, I think love is a choice. You pick somebody you're attracted to and have some compatibility issues, and you just make it work here or any other place in the world. So anyway, thank you for coming along. There are many other types of relationships that I've experienced and viewed and discussed with other people, and this video would go on for hours and hours and hours. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share the video. Safe travels to you all, and we'll see you next time.